My goal is in Berlin is to get under to 30, and
Wow, cool.
if I can do that, uh, then I think it also will be possible to uh, have a even more life based on uh, being a marathoner.
Are you running a marathon? Oh my god, I could never run a marathon. You sure about that? My god, a marathon? That's like 42 kilometers, 26 miles. I don't understand those people.
That used to be me, but not anymore. Welcome to the Marathon Podcast. My name is Christian Warwick, aka Warwick Runs on different platforms. Really happy to have you here. If you are new to the podcast, welcome. If you're a regular listener, welcome back. Really appreciate all the feedback on the latest episodes. It's been a lot of fun being the host of the Marathon Podcast lately. I'm currently, today, I'm 4 days away from my marathon in Trondheim. Very excited, can start to feel the nerves creeping in on me and feeling like my sleep is not as good, but still okay, all those typical marathon nerves that you'll get the days leading up to a marathon. So at the time of this podcast coming out, it's gonna be 2 days until my marathon. So you'll have to wait until the next episode with Joe Greer, I guess, for you guys to hear how the marathon went. Anyways, today we are having a very fast runner with us. She's another Norwegian marathon runner. We did have Ingrid Christiansen on, quite a legend, in the last episode. If you haven't listened to that one, I recommend you doing that. But today we're having Marte Mæhlum Johansen on, and she's the fastest marathon runner in Norway to date this year, and also amongst the best marathon runners in Norwegian history. She did 2:34 earlier this year, and she's planning on going even faster in Berlin. It was a very interesting conversation with Marte, a lot because we come from a bit of a similar background in terms of winter sports. She used to be a cross-country skier, a very good one of that, and she kind of found running by chance, and she's now really fast, really good. She's done some crazy workouts before the Berlin now. I'm very excited to see how fast she can go. So I think that we should just jump to the conversation with Marte, and you guys can just learn from her and hear her perspective on starting her running career at a not old age, but also not very young. Welcome, Marte, to the Marathon Podcast.
Thank you so much.
How are you today?
I'm fine. The sun is shining. I had a good workout, so now I couldn't be more happy.
That's good. So the main reason I have you here is obviously because you are a runner, you're a marathoner. And before you present yourself, I just want you to take us back to Hamburg and your personal record that you set there. I guess a few months ago, actually.
Yes, it was in the end of April this year, and that was my second marathon, and it ended up really well. I was chasing sub 2:35 and ended up with 2 hours 34 minutes and 50 seconds. So that's still something I have in my mind when I do these marathon sessions at the moment.
So finishing in 2:34, and we're both Norwegians, and like if you look at the stats, I don't think there's any Norwegian girl who's done a faster marathon this year. And also looking back historically, you're very much up there. What did that mean to you?
It meant a lot, and of course, you get more hungry to push that time even better. So, of course, when I crossed the finish line, I was just thinking about when can I do another marathon.
Yeah. And I want to talk more about that because I know that you also did another marathon a few months later, and that one went very well too. But before we dive into that, I would love for you to present yourself and what you've been up to before you started running, because you definitely had a bit of a different journey towards your fast marathons.
Yes, I was a cross country skier, and I retired. I think it's almost 4 years ago now. So um, so many years. I think okay, we can say 10 years of my life. I've been a cross country skier, and that was a big dream for me to be one of the best cross country skiers in the world, and also doing the Olympics and so on for Norway, as everyone wants to when they starting as a cross country skier in Norway. But I decided to move to Lillehammer when I was 15 years, um, to start at Norges toppidrettsgymnas, the sports school, where you can the most of the people who are starting there want to be an athlete. And I lived in Lillehammer 7 years in total. So I had 4 years in school and 3 years when I only was doing cross country skiing. So I was selected on the junior national team when I was 18, I guess. And then I had uh, 6 years at the national team in different levels here in Norway. And in 2020, I moved to Oslo and I started studying at Norwegian School of Sports Science when I was studying sports management. And I started there part time so I can combine with the cross country skiing. But in the fall 2021, the tank was a bit empty. And I struggled a lot with motivation and dark thoughts, I can say. I really much compared my shape with who I was as a person, and that ended up being very much negativity. And I didn't felt like I wanted to be an athlete anymore. I didn't want to do what was on my training plan, and so I found out that when I was doing cross country skiing, I was always eager to perform at the highest level, and I wasn't just joining for fun. So then I decided to quit that in November 2021.
I find it very interesting what you were saying about kind of, if I understood you correctly, identifying with your results in terms of like um, who you were, and you based maybe almost your worth on your results as an athlete. And honestly, I think that that's something that's not talked enough about. Like, people don't really know that. Like, as I can definitely relate to that myself. I remember going home from competitions on the weekends, and Sunday evening, if I had a good race, I would be like, I'm a great person, like I would go to school the day after and feel like a great person. Not necessarily in terms of like, oh, I'm so popular, I'm such a good, like uh not like, not always in terms of confidence, but more like self-worth, right?
Mm.
Um, and you did say that you had some dark thoughts at that time. Can you say a little bit more about that, and how, when you quit, how, because I assume that maybe that got better after quitting, maybe not immediately, but after, and how that all was for you.
Yeah, in the beginning when I had this lack of motivation, and it started just I had 2 weeks of flu, I think, and when I started training after that, I was just is tired of thinking about cross country skiing and roller skiing, and I just wanted to go at the gym or taking a easy run. I didn't want to do what I was meant to do. Um, and I called my coach that I had when I was a junior, because we had a really strong and good relationship. And he was just telling me, okay, but just take 2 or 3 weeks that you do whatever you want to do, like in training, and don't think about what's on your plan or something. You have I did such a good work all the year, and it's still 1.5 month until the season starts. So don't think about that. And I was okay. It's normal to be not that motivated in periods when you're an athlete. And the weeks flew away, and I was still not want to do the double poling intervals on roller skiing and long runs um, in the forest. And I was just oh I felt I felt really bad. I felt like a bad person because I didn't want to do my job or what I was meant to do. And I was on this ski classics team Ragde, and had teammates who were doing those strong and solid workouts, and I was just laying in my bed, and all I want to do is just take an easy run and go to school. So when I decided, I talked a lot with my nearest and friends, and also all the coaches, and it was really hard to just take the decision. And maybe the hardest part was to tell my parents, because they have supported me for so many years. And yeah, my dad has waxed my skis, and they have drove me all over the country. So, but I was also very sure that when I take this decision, I cannot look back. Then I'm confident with this decision, and I also was, actually. It was just about saying it.
How did it feel after when you made that decision? Was that kind of like weight off your shoulders?
Yes, definitely. And actually, I think 2 weeks or 1 week after, it was the seasonal opening of Beitostølen, and there was many people who was asking me, "Oh, how is it to watch it? And are you okay?" I was just, "Yeah, I'm not there."
Yeah.
And actually, 1 week after I took this decision, I started in my first job. So
Okay. Wow.
there was no time to just chill. I I love a hectical daily life. So 1 week after, I started working part time at Anton Sport.
Nice. I want to thank you for being open about this, because I remember, at least for me, when I quit, I I felt so alone about feeling that way. You know, like I felt like I was the only one who really looked at myself and my worth based on my results. And I remember that being hard, and just now hearing you saying it, and I've heard it from more people after, I'm like, oh, I wish that I could hear this back then, because then it would have made more sense, I guess. But in terms of like, so before you quit as a cross country skier, I know that you had some very good results. Why don't you share a little bit about what level you are at? And I know that as Norwegians, we don't really brag about our performances or things that we've done, but you're allowed to do that here.
Um, Yes, I can take it from when I was quite young, because I can admit that I was super talented child, or good as youth, and we have this competition, so can seem as national championship when you're young, like 13 to 14 and 15 to 16 years old, and there I did it really well, and I guess that was also much of the reason that I wanted to do this more and take it a bit more seriously. So when I was a junior, I won the Norwegian championship, and I got selected to European Youth Olympic Games when I was 18. So that was the first biggest win for me, when I took the gold medal there in Liechtenstein, I think it was. And after that, I was selected to Junior World Championship 2 years in a row, where I ended up with 2 gold medals, two silver, if I'm right. And you also have the U23 championship, the first year as a senior, and there I was selected all of the years, but I'm actually, yeah, the last year I took silver there individually and gold at the mixed relay. So, and in World Cup, my best result is 17th from home goal, 30K. So I'm really happy with what I achieved in as a cross country skier, and maybe I could have do more and get better, but not when the motivation wasn't there anymore.
No, I think you should be super proud, and I think that uh, it's nice to kind of establish where you work. Because in Norway, cross country skiing is so big, and just being able to qualify for those events, like that in itself is a great achievement, and so you should definitely be proud of that. And then in terms of where you are today, having found the marathon and just yeah, running as fast as you already have, I assume that, like we talked about before we started recording, all of these years of training cross country skiing uh, definitely has helped you uh, in terms of running faster. And I know that a lot of cross country skiers, they run quite a lot, but it's not necessarily, it's not given that a cross country skier can be that fast of a marathoner. But how was that transition for you, and how long did it take you to find running between quitting in 2021, was it? And then, if I'm right, you did your first like proper race running in 2024, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Half marathon in Oslo 1 year ago.
Yeah. So what happened between 2021 and 24, and what was your training like in those years?
When I'm just after my retirement, I was just keen on doing whatever I could, train whatever I want. That was the only thing I want to. So I do this uh, steady short runs, like 40 minutes when you're a bit tired, when you came in the door and it's sweaty, and oh yes, feel like I've worked out. And I was joining some good friends for some CrossFit training, and was a lot in the gym and doing much stuff there that I wasn't able to do, or I wasn't allowed to do when I was a cross country skier. Um, so I never had the problem of getting out of bed and do a workout. But when I don't have this goal or target, my training is not really structured. It's just what I've felt for, and I think that was really good for me for having that for some years. But I had those years right after my retirement, I became a bit too much yes person in many settings. So it was too much work combined with school, and also too much party almost every weekend, because yes, I can join a party at Friday, I can join this birthday party on Saturday, and I ended up with being tired every Sunday for many weeks in a row, and that's not healthy in the long term. So I find out that okay, I can't keep doing like this. So I find a better balance, especially on the social part, and I'm because of the running part, I have always liked to run a lot, and I think I run much more than many other cross country skiers. I also liked really well to compete in some uphill races or mountain races or something like that, and I actually was joining the national championship in track and field in 2019, just for fun. And it was near where I have grew up. And when I was starting to run much more flat, I also found out that okay, this is harder for my legs. So I was really consequent of not doing that every day in the beginning, and combine it with some roller ski or the gym or treadmill, and then just stepping it up. And I think it was, yeah, last year I was the plan was to do Copenhagen half, but I was in such a bad shape last spring, so I got bad time, and didn't felt I had nothing to do there, and I hadn't booked a flight or hotel, so I was just, "Okay, no, no, no." I just sell my bib and got start number for Oslo half, and did the last weeks before that, I had a kind of plan, and then I got my athlete mindset a bit back, not so much, but yeah, I'm getting up and doing what I know I had to do, and that was a really good experience. Even now, I can laugh at the result and think about how happy I was with that. But you have to start a place, and
So
after
what
that,
was your time?
1 hour and 24 minutes. So I was
That's not
chasing.
still not bad for your first one.
No, no. I was
Yeah.
just. My goal was to get under 1 hour and 25 minutes, because
Yeah.
I knew that, or I had heard that the course in Oslo was a bit hard, and it
Mhm.
was. So and after that, yeah, I was really happy, and this was such a good experience. So I think, oh my god, this I have to do this more, and yeah, here I am now.
Yeah. Wow. So after that, like we already established, you did a 2:34 this spring, and um, obviously 2:34 is much faster than the 1:24 half marathon that you did just a few months prior to that. What did you do between September 2024 when you did that half marathon and April of 2025?
Yeah, it started with or uh, last fall. I was between jobs, and I had much more time to work out or do whatever I want to. And I always thought that one day I will do a marathon, but many people can say that one day. And then I started thinking, maybe this year will be my first marathon, because I don't know when I have this much free time or this opportunity next time. So some weeks after Oslo, I decided to go for Valencia marathon in December. Uh, and it ended up with Valencia because I wanted to do my first marathon in another country, and in a fast course. And I heard so much good about Valencia, and it was so much Norwegian was going to do or go there. So I could also go with someone I knew, and so I got this start number for Valencia, I guess 2 months or something before the race. And then I started training a bit more structured for a marathon, but I had no idea how I trained for a marathon. The only thing I knew was that it's a long race and a long distance, and I was mostly scared of the distance. So I got some tips from someone I knew that had did some marathons, and yeah, I trained quite good, like one long run in the week and one or two interval sessions. And I think I had one day that I didn't free for running when I did some elliptical or something. And before Valencia, I was doing this half marathon at Jessheim 3 weeks before or something. And there was my target to go under 120, because I felt much better shape than in Oslo, and this was a faster course. And then I ended up with 1 hour 18 minutes and 29 seconds or something.
Wow.
So a PB with 6 minutes from Oslo. And then I knew that I got much more confident for the upcoming marathon.
Yeah.
Even though that's much double in distance, but I felt, okay, the training I've done has been good, and I'm much more ready for that distance now. So we went to Valencia, and I think I decided to, because when I first got the start number, I think that I thought that, okay, under 3 hours, I can do that. And then, when you do good sessions, you just change that target week per week. And I think the week before, I decided to go for under 250. So when I find my block at the start area in Valencia, I met this cross-country skier Eirik Bransdal at the start line. And he was having the same goal as me, and I was, perfect, we can run together. So we ran together for the first 30K, and I felt really, really good, and maybe too good, because I was talking almost every minute, or I think Eirik he thought I talk a bit much, because he was just telling me, do you have to talk so much? Or you can maybe just run harder.
Wow.
But I was just into that, everyone was telling me that the marathon starts at 30K, so
Yeah.
don't go too hard before that. And I was really consequent about that. But when we came to 30K, I increased my speed and then ended up. But it's like everyone say that the things you meet after 30, you cannot train for that. So the last, I would say at least 8 to 10 kilometers was brutal. Then you just want to. You're not sure if you can manage to make it to the finish, but then I ended up with 2 hours and 47 minutes. So that was a
Wow.
really good experience, and I'm very glad. Maybe I had too much energy left, or it's easy to say afterwards, but I'm really glad that I had such a good experience on my first marathon. So when I crossed the finish line, I could tell right after that I want to do this again.
Yeah, that's understandable. 2:47 for your first marathon. Not a lot of people can say that. What
And
was your mile? Yeah,
mm,
sorry.
no, just keep going.
Yeah, what was your mileage, like weekly mileage, like for like between Oslo half marathon and Valencia marathon?
I guess around 100.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Not, I don't have that much weeks over 100, maybe a couple.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
And
is
I
that the
had,
same now?
now it's, I think, now I'm often around between 120 and 140 in average, I
Yeah.
guess. My biggest week this block was last week, and I ended up with 170. So that
Oh
was
wow.
a lot for me.
Hmm. I kind of skipped ahead there because like
Mm.
we're talking about what you're having now, but obviously you do 2:47 in Valencia, super fast, and like you said, you were motivated to do more. And although 2:47 is really good, like that jump from 2:47 to 2:34 that you did in April, 5 months later, that's when people probably start talking and where you really get noticed. And I'm sure that also did something for you, like in your mind about what running actually can turn out to be like for you. What did you change something, or did you change a lot in your training between the Valencia and the Hamburg marathon in April, or did you just keep on doing the same things?
Yeah, I actually changed a lot. The biggest change was in February when I got got a coach, Christian Ulriksen. I know he has been a guest
Mm-hmm.
here, and I was talking to him after I did this lactate profile at Breaking Marathon Limits Clubhouse, and he was just asking me how the test went, and I think it was good. Then we were just talking about some other stuff, and I was asking him if um, he maybe could help me with a training plan for marathon in the spring. And he was just, do you want to follow a plan? Are you serious? And I was, yes, I really want to. And after that, it just went, yeah, quite more serious and much more specific workouts and sessions. And we did a lot of sessions together. And he has been yeah, so important for me that I'm sure that I would been where I am today if I didn't had make this collab with him. So after that, we I increased my volume um, quite every week, and I also did some long runs together with Christian, and then I also think that he actually saw what I was capable to do, or that I had big potential. That he saw that quite early in me, and we started just working from there. And yeah, so that was the biggest change, and that it's hard to say what I was capable to do without him, but it has been so much to me because I have not any problem to, like I said, go out and do a workout. I just don't know what I should do to perform at my best for a marathon.
Yeah, I'm very curious to ask you a little bit more about heading into that 234 marathon, and like you mentioned before, in terms of the mindset, in terms of the goals. But before we do, I also want to ask you about Christian and his philosophy, because like you said, he was on here and he was talking about those things. And first of all, one thing that's been interesting after that episode was that as Norwegians, we obviously know who Christian is because we've listened to him on different Norwegian podcasts. But I've interviewed people from the UK and they've been like, "Oh yeah, he's such a legend." And then the other day, I had Matt Fox on from Australia, and he was like, "Yeah, I got a text from Christian Ulrichs, and you probably know who that is." And I realized how has such an international following and influence, which is pretty cool. So I don't think I ever thought that with this podcast having most of its listeners in the US, that so many people actually knew who he was. So that's very cool. And obviously, he's a fast marathoner himself, and people can listen to that episode if they want to hear more about his journey. But for you, in terms of his philosophy and the training, you did mention a little bit about it, but can you say more about the training and the things that you guys are doing, and also maybe what you think you guys are doing differently than others in your training?
Yeah, as Christian believes in high volume and also high mileage. And I also, since I was a cross country skier, believe that you have to manage to do a high volume of training if you want to get better at the top level. But when, yeah, in this spring, we had like almost like 1 day a week we had this double threshold day, and a big long run at the weekend, and almost easy runs but in between. And the long run was often on a Sunday, and that could be at the end it was quite tough, like intervals during the long run at the marathon pace. And I also think that uh, every Monday, day after this long run, I think that that day was much or important for me, that that day was easy. So I could I managed to rest and be capable to do the training later that week. So every Monday I had either a rest day or some elliptical, or just a easy 30 minutes run. And I think that was, yeah, just as important as the long run on Sunday. Because I was, or I am, working in a kindergarten, and so I cannot just take home office or flex this working times or something. I need to be there 8 hours a day. So that's he was really uh, into that you have to be able to rest after this long run, so we are ready for the next important session. Especially when I had this job that I had, and but we had very good training before Hamburg, but now we have increased that quite a lot. So it's actually really hard to compare those training blocks, or it's quite different in many ways.
Let's first then talk about that first block to Hamburg and heading into that. Like you did mention now a little bit about the philosophy and how or what Christian believes in and what works for you. I love to hear that you are focusing so much on the recovery after that kind of long run. I think that that's where people might, get injured or burnt out because you had a good session and then the day after you might still feel good, but just like not pushing it too much. I think that's really smart, and that's my experience too. But obviously this worked very well for you, and then leading up to Hamburg and that race, and then you're going into that with a personal record of 247. When did you realize that you were good for something as good as a sub 235 marathon?
I guess I started to believing that some weeks before, because this during the spring, I started thinking about my first target was to go for sub 240, and then that period after I started with Christian as a coach, I actually felt that I was getting better on taking steps every week almost. And I also asked him, like some weeks before, what do you believe I can do in Hamburg? And he was just, what do you think yourself? And based on the sessions we had done, um, I ended up saying, I believe that I can do 235 if I have a good day, and the weather is quite good, and though other conditions are, yeah, normal. So because some weeks before Hamburg we did this marathon session with this long run with intervals inside, when average pace on that session was 340, and it was 32K or something. And then I thought, okay, and on that day it was raining, it was windy. I wear the long tights and a jacket. So then I started with, okay, then I can do, or I had to believe I can do 35 in Hamburg. But uh, I think you have to be willing to take some risks also when you are at the starting line on a marathon, because you don't get a new chance next week if you don't manage to reach your goal. You can just, okay, but then I can just do another marathon in 2 weeks. So I was thinking that, okay, I can be safe and do and get under 240, or I can take a little risk and chasing sub 2:35. And that can be possible if I have a good day and everything works out well. So I think you have to be willing to take some risks when you are doing these marathons, because it's not like a 10K or a 5K that you can do that often. Or maybe next opportunity or the next time you are going to the marathon, you get sick or injured. So I believe in that. You have to be willing to take some risks at when you're starting.
Yeah. And so when you started, and like you said, taking risks, what was your targeted pace when you started, and how did you follow that plan throughout the race?
So my plan was to starting at around 3:40, or uh, the pace should be in between 3:38 and 3:40, not any faster. And my plan was to do a half in 1:17:15 or something. But it started out not too hard, but I think I did the half in Hamburg at 1:16:59 or something. But Hamburg is not flat all the way. It's some not that big uphills, but for example, around 3 kilometers, it's a long downhill, so you just have to follow the course naturally. And my biggest surprise was actually when I stood at or in the start area. I thought, oh, it has to be so much people who are chasing the same goal as me. But then I was wrong. But I was lucky and found a group of around 10 Danish guys who was chasing sub 2:35, and I ran with them until 25 or something. And after that, mostly all of them got tired. And then I just looked down to my watch and, oh my God, this is too slow. And then I had to take a decision. Okay, maybe I should chase some people in front of me, or should I just do my own race? So I decided to go for chasing some people in front that wasn't that far away, because it was a bit windy that day. So I knew it will be really nice if I could stay behind some guys for some kilometers at least. So after I lead the Danish guys, I started to find some new guys in front of me that I could try to lay behind. And I got this guy that was willing to drag me for like 5, 6 kilometers. And then he was just, okay, now you have to run. Just go, girl. I can't handle this anymore. And so I think I ran, maybe 10 kilometers all by myself in Hamburg. So, but in the end, I think it's around 40 is this uphill. That was really, really hard. And when I just finished that, I looked down on my at my watch and still saw that, okay, I can reach sub 2:35, but I wasn't sure because the GPS are yeah, and you haven't started at this clock as the same as the elite runners. So I just pushed through, and when I saw the finish line, I was just looking up at the clock, and it stood 2:34 high. But then I just ran for my life, and first I thought, oh, it was over 2:35, but then I realized that that was the elite clock, or the gun time. So I had 30 seconds on me there. So it was a hard race, and I'm really happy with the race. And it's hard to say, but maybe if I had um, more people to run with, a bit more, the course could be a bit more flat and not that windy. Maybe I could have 1 or 2 minutes um, left, or better time, but it's hard to say. But I'm super happy with that race, and it was a very special day. And yeah, when I think about Valencia and how happy I was there, it was really amazing to, yeah, push that time with almost 13 minutes.
Yeah, it's incredible. So during that race, like you thank you for taking us through that so thoroughly. That was nice, and uh, it's also cool to hear like that guy telling you to go because he can't go any further like that. In terms of fueling during that race, how did you fuel, and did you have a plan for that you were able to stick to, or because that's what I feel like is an issue sometimes. I have a plan, but then obviously my body isn't necessarily always ready to take on fuel, although it probably needs it. How was that for you?
Yeah, my plan was to take one gel every 20 minutes or something, 20 or 25, around that. But it's like you said, it's okay in the beginning, but I think the most important is that you follow the plan uh, in the beginning. And if you don't get or are not able to take that gel at kilometer 30, it shouldn't be that will ruin your race. Because if you have fuel good enough the day before or the days before in the morning, um, that shouldn't be any problem. So, but my mom was with me to Hamburg, so she stood at kilometer 23 or something, and she brought this bottle with sports drink, and that's much more easier to drink when you are tired than taking this gel. So that helped me a lot, and I think maybe I took one gel after that bottle with uh, I had the Morton on that bottle, and one. So I think it's hard to follow that plan. Uh, I think that almost happened with me every race. I don't manage to follow that plan, but I have never felt that my body is empty. It's the legs, or yeah, the other things that stops you. It's not that I am don't it's not that I'm empty for carbs or something.
No. It's interesting that you're saying that because in Boston this year for me, I had a gel. I think it was at 32 after the like when you were done with the hills. And I was very much trying to follow my plan of doing it, but I immediately regretted that because I felt like I was throwing up in my mouth, and I was kind of struggling with that for I don't know for how long, but just this nauseous feeling and not feeling good. And then all of a sudden it's like I don't struggle with my legs. It's not my breath. Like I'm not out of breath, but I'm still just feeling sick or ill.
Yeah.
Uh, and like looking back, I'm like, did I actually ruin my race by doing that, or did I need that energy? And it's really hard to tell
Mm.
after. I feel like, but I like hearing what you're saying.
But of course, if you're doing a marathon in 4 hours, it's
Yeah,
much more important to try to fueling during the whole race. Or yeah,
yeah,
but I'm agree with you that it could be, yeah, end up worse if you're taking that gel the last few kilometers, if you're feeling that you want to puke or something.
hmm,
So, but I think start fueling early and take a gel before 15 minutes before the start or something, so that you are on in plus when you start the race. Because
yeah,
when you feel that you are empty for carbs or something, that's too late to start then.
yeah. And with that time, like I said before, because I was looking up the statistics, now I don't, I am not able to say like on the Norwegian statistics of all time because that was a bit hard to find. But you're definitely up there, like looking at the best marathon times for the last years. Obviously, you have like Ingrid Christiansen who had the world record for a very long time. But other than that, like you're very much up there amongst the best female marathoners in Norway. And if you fast forward to, was it June or July this year, you also set a course record up in Tromsø, was it? Up in
Yeah.
the at the Midnight Sun Marathon, 2:36.
Yes.
How was that marathon? If you were to compare those to time wise, because in my head I was like, well, it sounds like maybe the Midnight Sun race could have been a better race, although it wasn't as fast.
Mm. Yeah, when I look back on those two races, I think I actually will say that the Midnight Sun was um, quite that, or maybe better than Hamburg, because it was a bit spontaneous, the Midnight Sun. It wasn't planned for weeks. And yeah, I went up there with Christian, my coach. He was doing the 10K, and I just wanted actually to go for the victory for the marathon. And so that was the plan, to just win the race for women. And I had not had no such a taper period or something. But so my plan was to try to get the victory um, without taking it all out. But I knew that it was this Swedish girl who was also at the start line, Hanna Lindholm, who has marathon PB of 2:28, I think, and I ran many marathons around 2:30. And but she did Stockholm this year, which was 3 weeks before Tromsø, or two or something. So I thought, okay, she cannot be that sharp now. But I wasn't sure about my shape. Had trained good, and did some long runs, but not that marathon specific workouts since Hamburg. And we started out, and she was starting so hard that after some kilometers, I thought, okay, I just have to let her go, because this is too hard. This is faster than I started in Hamburg. And the course in Tromsø it's quite good, but it's not that flat. You run over the big bridge twice, then you get that uphill one way and the downhill the other way, and it ends up the last 10Ks are the 10K course. So when you have ran 32, you end up in the city center, and then you run the 10K course. So when we was around kilometer 30, I I started to see Hannah and started chasing her with another guy. And then I thought, okay, she must be tired. And then I felt actually quite good, and I had run the race all by myself from let's say around 6 kilometers to the 28. And then I saw her and started chasing her, and when we was that near her, that I think she heard my breath quite early, because when I got tired, I had this um, deeply breathing, and I got a bit, what should I say? When we reached her, I got so overtenning.
Yeah, you were kind of like too eager, too excited to. I don't know. You were probably going a bit too hard or overly
Yeah.
excited, I guess.
Yeah. So the last 10K was kind of tough, but then she was finished, and Christian, my coach, was standing in the course and screamed that Anna is finished, and don't run that fast. Keep it easy when you can, and then we also
Because he wanted you to not go all out. Is that
yeah
why he was? Yeah.
yes, but then in the last kilometers, we also realized that I could take the course record. So then we just had to calculate that I took the course record, and not doing it all out in the best way. So that was a really good race, but the biggest difference is, I think, for a marathon, it's the days after. Um, if you do a marathon all out, you are quite smashed the days after. And in Tromsø, it was hard, but it wasn't all that all out feeling. Didn't have to uh, dig that deep as in Hamburg, and so the week after, the days after, I felt quite good actually. So it's a huge difference of going all out the last kilometers in a marathon than don't doing it. So yeah, I guess it's hard to say, but based on the course and that I hadn't had this taper period, I will might say that Tromsø was a better race, because it was only 1 minute and 40 seconds behind the time from Hamburg. So but that was a really good experience, and really cool to run in the midnight sun, because it actually was sun and perfect conditions. I think it was around 10 degrees. So I recommend everyone to go there and run. Next year it's actually the national championship in marathon there.
Wow.
So
Yeah, because it's important to. I think it's important to mention here that, like you said, you weren't tapered. You didn't go into this race with the ambitions of racing your best race. But in addition to that, we're also not used to competing, because you start around 9, is it? And then
yeah,
you end
half
up
past
at
9.
yeah. So like if you're doing a 2:36, then you end just after midnight, I guess. You finished or
Right before midnight.
right before midnight. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. So that is also a factor, and in this that some people, or at least most of us, we don't do our runs at that time of day. So that's also different, like different experience for the body. Yeah. But when looking up, so if you Google your name, a lot of articles from that race will show up, and also articles about your 234 in Hamburg. I'm interested to hear how these two marathons kind of have changed your life as a runner. Have you noticed that you get more attention? Do you have more sponsors? Anything like that where you have more freedom to be almost like a full-time athlete?
Uh, yeah, it kind most of all it changed my life because I'm very motivated to see how far I can go as a runner. But yeah, after Hamburg, it was a bit attention, and I increased my followers, on Instagram and Strava, and but I'm also very open to share what I'm doing, both in Instagram and Strava. I don't have any secrets. And then you also get a lot of feedback, which I think I've almost just been positive feedback. People asking tips and questions, and I'm very willing to answer almost everything if I can help someone. And I also get a lot of messages of people telling that I'm inspire them or something, and that's very cool to hear. And therefore, I also want to keep sharing my running journey. And yeah, I had some interviews with some media, but I wish I could uh, only be a runner or live uh, just living my life of being that, but apparently not. So I work part time in the kindergarten now, but I'm really looking and hoping for to get some sponsors so I can do this even more and have one thing is that increase your training, but also have more time to rest. And but maybe the biggest difference from what my life was in April and now is definitely that I think that I can do this running or taking a next step soon. And I'm very motivated to see how good I can be as a runner. And I really think that marathon is my thing, and I really love everything about it, training blocks and long sessions and pushing my body. So yeah, I hope in the future I can have this even more as a lifestyle.
Yeah, in the American running community that I've kind of become a part of, we keep talking about this going pro, right? Like, and it's a loose definition too, but I definitely see that in the cards for you in terms of where you are right now. And then I assume, like, based on what you just said, that because you're in the block now for Berlin Marathon, right? So what is it, 3.5 weeks, or is it
No, it's
four?
actually a month. It's
Okay,
21st.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, so you have a month. When this episode comes out, you probably have closer to 3 weeks left. Um, what is your goal there? And you also did mention that the training now looks very different than what it did leading up to Hamburg. What are those big changes?
My goal is in Berlin is to get under to 30, and
Wow. Cool.
if I can do that, then I think it also will be possible to uh, have a even more life based on uh, being a marathoner. Because if you, I see a lot of, I've been into many of those big marathons websites, and many of the uh, to qualify as an elite runner, 2:30 is in many of those races. For example, Boston, I actually checked yesterday. For
Mhm.
female, it was sub 2:30. So that is my goal there. And after Tromsø, or yeah, in the spring or after Hamburg, and Christian, my coach, was doing London Marathon. He started working with Renato Canova, who is a famous coach who trained a lot of good athletes. And the training we have done now is more different, based on that it's much more harder training and harder interval sessions.
So higher intensity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also ran a lot much more speed workouts, like 400 meters on a pace that, yeah, 5K pace. And also the long runs, or we have did more like this on and off sessions. When we are on we do the on intervals at, or on kilometers at marathon pace or goal marathon pace, and the floats 40 seconds slower. So last week we had this 3 kilometers on and 1 kilometers off. So that's 24K in total. And then the average of that session was 3:43. So that was a really good session to have now before the last month. And I also had this when we have this double, we have one day in the week with double intervals when we have, and then the first session in the morning is often on a treadmill, so we can control more of the intensity. And biggest difference from training in the spring is that now these intervals are more longer and higher in volume in total. So now we
Wow.
have interval days like 34K in total.
Wow.
So we have increased many things, but I think one of the most important stuff is that between every hard day, we always have 2 days between the hard days.
Yeah.
So not like the normal, Norwegian method that many runners do, like double threshold Tuesday and Thursday,
No.
or Saturday as well. Because after these days, you need to have 2 days
Yeah.
easy running, and that
So
also
will you
is.
then? Is it typically then that you have double threshold one day and then you have the long run, which is a bit harder, and those are kind of the two quality days of the week, and the rest is easy, or do you have an additional workout somewhere in between there?
Yeah, it depends. Like last week, we had a long run on Monday. So Renato doesn't follow a normal week or like long runs on Sunday. The day is just the day.
Mm.
So on Monday we had 45K at 3:55, around 3:55 pace, 3:53. So that's 20 seconds slower than my goal marathon pace. So that was a tough one, and that's then I ran with Christian, and we also were a big group. Um, so that session is definitely more hard for me than for him. And then 2 days easy, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday we had this double interval day with treadmill in the morning, like 5 times 8 minutes, and 10 times 800 meters and 10 times 400 meters at the track in the evening. And those sessions on the track are definitely the worst for me because I'm not that fast. So I feel like I'm dying from lap one. That's the hardest. I
Do you use spikes for those, or do you have just your normal kind of running shoes
I
or super shoes?
I got my first spikes some weeks ago, and I did some of the 400 meters I can do with spikes, but I had a session at the track 2 days ago, and then I didn't use spikes.
Mhm.
So I don't think it's necessarily, but nice if you can do some of them maybe to strengthen your legs. But I don't think it's necessary to use spikes. So then we had that one in the evening, and we had 2 easy days, Friday and Saturday, and Sunday. We had this on and off session Sunday evening. So
Yeah.
3 kilometers on, 1 kilometers off. And then that morning I had this 8 kilometer moderate run with some speed variations every kilometers. So but last week was also my biggest week this block. So I ended up with 170K in total and 3 really good and hard days. So
How
it's
is your
yeah.
sorry?
Yeah, so it's uh I think we have had one long run every second week this block.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. How is your body reacting to all of this?
Uh it actually has been really good the whole block. I have not have any trouble or been injured or nothing. So I'm really happy and really glad I'm being capable of absorb and survive this training. But I'm very um, focused on resting when I can. Um, the days I'm not at work, I always try to take a nap in the middle of the day and fueling, especially right after sessions. And on those big or double days, that is key to survive this kind of training. And I'm I never use the same shoes 2 sessions in a row. I'm um, I'm very consequent of changing shoes and not use the same, so I get some variations for my feet. And I
Yeah.
also go for some sports massage. Yeah, maybe 1 to 2 times a month. So have a bit of control of how the muscle are.
Yeah. We're definitely getting closer to the end of our conversation here, but I have a couple of questions on the long run that you were just talking about. First of all, did you say that you only have or only have a long run every other week and not every week like a lot of marathoners would do?
I
Or
think average this block it have been some weeks, or maybe I'm not sure. I have to look at my plan. Maybe I skip
but do
it.
you think that it also could be like in terms of a definition of the long run? Because when you were talking about your double threshold days, for instance, you said that you had 30, was it 30 or 34 kilometers in total that day? So that
Yeah, we
means
have
that,
it has been between 30 and 35 on those days.
yeah. So to a lot of people, they would still say that those days are so solid and there's so much volume
Yeah.
just those days that although you might have not have had like it's called a long run on the program, you still have that volume in one day and maybe not in one session, but you still run so much that maybe it's not necessarily to have it every
Yeah.
7 days. Like,
But I
yeah,
see now that maybe it's 2 weeks from the summer start without the long run.
yeah.
So almost every week. But I have never, uh, since Hamburg, actually, I never felt out of the long run. What should I say? When you're into long runs, it doesn't feel that hard or don't cost that much.
No.
So for me, running 30K now is, yeah, it's long, but if it's not that fast, it doesn't cost that much. It's not the
Because
distance that is my problem.
no, it's intensity, I guess.
Yes.
If yeah. Because I would assume that a lot of runners have different approaches to the long run and how to do it, and also how long those runs are, especially building up to a marathon. You said that you had one where it was 45 kilometers
Mm.
at like, although it's 20 seconds from your marathon pace, I'm sure it's hard at the end of a run like that.
Yeah, yeah. On the 40, we had this 2 weeks or 10 days before the 45K. We had this 40K. But the last 5 kilometers on the 45, I don't remember any of those. I think I didn't say a word, and I'm very chatter during the long runs. I
Yeah.
love to speak and chat with people. But the last 5K, it was just a mental battle. Um, so I don't think you need to have those over distances, but it's really nice to uh, know that, okay, I managed to do a 45K and that actually went out well, and I'm not tired a week after that. Um, so now we had this 40 and 45, and I did a marathon in Tromsø. So I have really much confidence on the distance, but yeah, it's the pace and my threshold pace that is yeah, the most important thing for me to get better.
And last question on that, like when you determine where you are at in terms of that pace, like because for me now, being we briefly talked about this before recording, like I'm 2.5 weeks out and I had a long run the other day, and I'm still like, okay, so that was 3:56 pace for 30 kilometers. It was a progressive run. I'm still not sure where I'm at, right? Like it's hard to really know where you're at. Do you have any of those workouts or things that you kind of learned over the last year where you're like, okay, now based on this workout, I know that I'll be okay going out at this pace for the marathon?
Yeah, tomorrow I think I will get the answer, especially because then we are having a 32K long run at 95% of goal marathon pace. So for me, that long run I are going to have 3:43 in average for that long run. And if you can do on a training, around 30K, I will say, in such a high percent of your goal marathon pace, I'm sure you can do it at the race because, as we spoke about, um, with taper, carbo loading, adrenaline, singlet and split shorts, it's much you can have many seconds with only those few things.
Yeah. Thank you. That gave me some confidence going into my marathon. Last question. I did see that you, like when I looked up your name, one of the things that came up was Olympics LA 2028 because you made a comment on that. And with your level right now, I understand why that is becoming a topic. Can you say something about, like, when I say LA 2028, what comes to mind?
It's a bit scary to say, but that's 3 years from now, and I know that I can't keep up this progression that I have for like 3 years from now, because then we talk about the world record, and but I'm with my motivation now, and I feel that marathon is really my new passion, and I'm eager to see how far I can go with this running thing. I really believe that if I do the right things and staying healthy and not get injured, that is not too far or only a dream, or it's a dream now, but maybe in 1 year or 2 years I can think that actually that can be possible. And in this running game, and like now for the world champs in Tokyo, it's this point system and ranking system, and it's not only based on the qualifying time every time. It depends on how many who want to attend, and so suddenly some opportunity can make that someone who didn't have to take the qualifying time actually can compete at a big race like the world champs or something. So it's a bit scary to say, but you have to dream big and have something to chase in the future.
I'm rooting for you, and I definitely think that that's possible. So can't wait to see where you're going and to see how it's going in Berlin now in September. Thank you so much for coming on the Marathon Podcast, Marte. I really, really appreciated the chat and everything that you shared. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, and good luck for you in Trondheim.
Thank you. It's interesting to hear how Marte's journey as a runner has been. It's definitely been a bit different than a lot of runners and a lot of 234 women. So I think that it's really fun to hear how she's approaching running, but also about her goals. And I definitely see her being one of the candidates from Norway to run the marathon in LA in 2028. It's a lot of fun having a runner like Marte on, who's had a very different marathon journey. And I know I'm repeating myself on this, but it's still, coming from cross-country skiing, doing a very fast first marathon, and then doing an incredibly fast second marathon. I think that it's just very, very inspiring, and I hope that you as a listener can get some inspiration or motivation from this as well. I know not all of us will be able to be as fast as Marte, but she's still an inspiration, and she proves that it's possible to improve a lot just by doing the right things. So I just want to thank Marte for her time, for her openness, and I hope that you as a listener learned some new things from Marte and that you found inspiration to get on for that run for yourself, or to just put that extra effort into your training. I want to thank you for listening to the Marathon Podcast. If you haven't already, please give this podcast a review. I would really appreciate that. And I wish you a great day. And I'll let you know how my marathon goes in the next episode. As I said, we're having Joe Greer on. If you haven't, or if you are not familiar with him, check him out. A great photographer, a very fast marathoner, and just a genuinely nice dude. So can't wait for you guys to hear that. Have a good one. You listen to the Marathon Podcast, brought to you by Wild Studio.